Garden tonight. Jalen Brunson, of course, has had his up and down games so far and moments in the finals. The King of New York has slowed down in the finals after shooting 49% from the field the first 3 rounds. Jalen Brunson is shooting just 37% in the finals against the Spurs. The Spurs have been all over him, forcing 13 turnovers over 3 games in the finals, averaging just over 4 a game after averaging 2 turnovers per game in the run to the finals. And despite the low field goal percentage and turnovers, Jalen Brunson is still Captain Clutch. We know that for the Knicks. He's averaging nearly 11 points per game in the fourth quarter. And so here is Brunson now assessing his play thus far.
How do you feel like you've played in these finals? And what do you feel like you need to do better?
Most importantly, not turn the ball over. Give my team an opportunity. Kind of in the middle. I've played better, but also I've played worse.
I feel like that's actually a pretty fair assessment. Yes, I agree. How will we view Jalen Brunson if the Knicks blow what was a 2-0 finals lead? They had won those 2 games in San Antonio. Now they lost one at the Garden. How will we view Brunson if they happen to blow this finals?
Well, first off, you won't put him ahead of Ewing on the Nick Paphion.
That's true.
That's
Or
the first
Frazier.
thing. Well, you're not putting him over Frazier and Reed anyway because they won twice. Yeah. But you're not putting him over Ewing. So that's the first thing. I think it's Brunson, and I think it's, as I said to you a little while ago, I think the franchise, this would be unfathomable for a Knick fan to lose this series after they won the first 2 games the way they won them, and then to turn around and have home court and have a 2-0 lead and let this young team beat them 4 out of 5 games. I don't know how they would get over it, and it would be a knock on Brunson. Now, the thing is, he's right about the halfway point because, let's face it, he's made big shots in the fourth quarter. He made, in game 1, he makes the 3, and of course he makes the big shot in game 2 and then a free throw, and he made a big shot the other night. But here's the stat that I don't like if I'm a Knick fan. He's taken 81 shots in this series, and Cat's taken 37.
Correct.
Now, listen, I understand part of it's Anthony, and maybe I put Mike Brown, get him a ball, figure it out. But, I mean, he's taken 44 more shots than the center.
Stunning.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, come on, man. 81 shots in 3 games. And as Stevie said, was he 37%, you said?
Yes.
I mean, that's too many. I mean, geez, that's too many. He's going to turn the ball over because they're a physical defense. They throw 3 or 4 guys on him. He's a little bit of a guy. I get that. But the shots, the volume shooting, what would be disturbing me?
Well, that and the lack of ball movement. No assists.
a big thing.
18 assists on 40 baskets. I'm going to go, there's something, look, I got all 3 predictions wrong so far. I had San Antonio winning game 1, wrong. I had San Antonio evening the series to win game 2, wrong. I had the Knicks winning game 3, wrong. The only thing I got right about this is going into the series, you look at Castle, Harper, Fox, and Vassell. That's 4 guys who you could throw at Jalen Brunson. And I thought that they were going to give him a problem. And they are giving him problems when you look at, what is it, 31 for 81, something like that. 81 shots is crazy. He had 25 shots. He had 25 and 31. Really, 56 shots in 2 games. That's Kobe Jordan territory. And not efficient at it. I don't know how we're going to view Jalen. I'm not into this whole win now or bust. That's a New York fan thing, and that's not what I'm into. The Knicks will have time. A lot of teams go back. I mean, we've seen terrific teams be beaten back and have to climb that mountain again. Maybe the Knicks are one of those teams, and Jalen Brunson's going to have to lead them. But can he get away tonight from those 4 guys, Stephen? Can he get away from them and have one of his patented games, a 50% shooting game where he's also terrific in the fourth quarter? Is asking a lot, but that's the stuff that makes you a champion. I don't know, but that's the one thing, the one advantage that San Antonio had over any team in the East and would be dead even with Oklahoma City. We got guys we can throw at Jalen Brunson and keep him from taking over this series.
Jalen Brunson's averaging 27.3 points a game in this series. He's shooting 37% from the field. He's shooting 32% from three-point range, and that was only because of last game, because he was at 31% and like 24% from three-point range before game 3. He has as many assists as turnovers, 13. It's unacceptable. I've been on the record and I said this the other day. Jalen Brunson looked like he was trying to win Finals MVP instead of winning Game 3. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that the New York Knicks walked into it, and they got caught up just like the fans did, myself being the ringleader, one of the ringleaders. And we like, yo, we ain't coming back to Texas. We ain't coming back to Texas. And so you had a whole bunch of people thinking along those lines. If we could take them out in San Antonio, we damn sure can take them out at the Garden. And as a result, you took these young thoroughbreds for granted. And they came in there playing with a level of urgency that you should have been playing with. And the New York Knicks looked more nervous than the San Antonio Spurs did early in the game. And that's inexcusable when you consider the youth on the San Antonio Spurs. It's one thing to be the visitor. It's another thing to be puppies and to still walk into the Garden looking more experienced than you. That's what the New York Knicks allowed to happen. And now Game 4 appears to be an incredibly, incredibly pivotal game. The New York Knicks played 75% of this season rife with a bunch of question marks because we saw Jalen Brunson pounding the ball a little bit too much, Mike Brown running the offense through him, not distributing the basketball, Karl Anthony Towns getting lost in the mix, and other dudes not producing to the level that we would have liked. As the season waned, we saw Mikal Bridges pull a disappearing act. There was a damn APB out for him and his offense because he was only averaging about 7 points on 28% shooting. It was abysmal. And then Mike Brown sat up there come playoff time, particularly after the New York Knicks were down. And everybody's head was on, it was on a chopping block because they could not have lost that series and these guys would have remained in place. I'm telling you that right now. Mike Brown would have been gone. A couple of players would have been traded. I'm telling you right now, they lost in the first round of Atlanta Hawks. It would have been changes. But they didn't do it. And why didn't they do it? Because you got Karl Anthony Towns the ball. You put it in his hands. You enabled him to be a facilitator. You took Jalen Brunson off the ball and said, go ahead and look for your shot. Look to do damage. Don't worry about, quote unquote, running the offense. Cat can do that. And because of that, Mikal Bridges came alive. OG Anunoby was even, he came alive, even though we love OG. Josh Hart capitalized off of that. McBride and Shamet capitalized off of it. Mitchell Robinson gave you his 14 to 15 minutes a night and found a way to be effective. Jordan Clarkson came off the bench, was able to do some things. You looking at this stuff, and you're like, how do you get away from that? You got away from that because you were feeling yourself. You got away from that because you thought you had accomplished something. You talk about Mamba mentality and how much you love the late, great Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul. What did Kobe Bryant say? Job finished, job ain't finished, not to me. Job ain't finished. They didn't have that attitude. They did not have that attitude. We was raving about the New York Knicks. They're quiet, they're focused, they ain't getting caught up. Somewhere along the way, you got caught up when you got back to Gotham City. You got back to Gotham City and you got caught up. Now, the Spurs reminded you, you ain't won yet. Tonight is going to tell us a lot about the New York Knicks, and it's going to tell us a lot about Jalen Brunson, because where did the slide begin? If indeed a slide takes place, it's with Game 3, a game that he should not be happy about.
So I do wonder if Game 3 everyone was a little bit off because, listen, people had butts in the seats, 2-3 hours before tip-off? They're not accustomed for. Who's accustomed? Like, their warm-up routine, what they're going through, the stadium or the arena's packed. Like, maybe you're thrown off your game a little bit. People are coming over, saying hi to you.
But no one cares.
That's true. No one cares.
No one cares. The game tip-off time arrived. You got a basketball game to play and win.
Yes.
And if you didn't do it, you didn't do it.
Well, Game 4, they get another opportunity tonight. Madison Square Garden has had its fair share of villains. We know that. Has Victor Wembanyama even cracked Mad Dog's top 5 of those MSG villains? We'll find out next. Plus, the Knicks up 2-1 in the series, but is tonight a must-win game? Some say yes. More First Take after this.